What's going on, guys? Kev here. So I built this multi-operator agent workflow in n8n, and it basically controls my entire business. But in this video, guys, we're going to keep things really simple. And we are going to build your first multi-agent system together. After you learn the ropes, these tutorials are going to get absolutely gnarly. Everything you guys are seeing in this video is going to be included in both the free and paid no-code academy. So to get you guys started, it's going to be linked down below. But without further ado, let me show you this crazy demo. Okay, so we're going to open up the chat window here, and we're going to send in this paragraph that says, send an email to Rick asking if he's going to the Formula 1 Grand Prix in Montreal this weekend, book an event in my calendar for 4 p.m. this Thursday for a basketball game, tell me the schedule I have for tomorrow so I can prepare, add daniel.jones@gmail.com to the customer contact list on Stripe, and add Ryan and Susan's phone numbers to the Sheets contact list. So we're going to send this in, and I'm going to explain the workflow. So we're going to drop this down, and we can see that the first message that comes in, the operator agent has to actually think about what to do. And so we have this simple memory to actually keep track of the previous messages that have come in. And once the operator agent decides where it wants to go, it's going to call its first sub agent or its first specialized employee. And so that's the email agent where it's actually going to send that email, which is the first task. And that email is Rick, which is actually my email, and I actually got it on my phone. And so I'm going to show you guys that on the screen really quick while I sign in. But on the screen, it's actually headed back to the operator because it has to do its next task, which is the calendar agent. And so now it's booking in that first event, which is actually not even an event that's being booked in. It's getting the events that I asked for. And that's what I have booked for tomorrow. And so that's going to be done through the get of all events for next week. So let's see what happens next. Another cool thing about the operator agent is that you can see all the steps that it does by looking at the chat module that it's connected to. And so now it's gone back to the calendar agent because we now have to book in my basketball game for Thursday. Now next, guys, it's jumped directly to the Stripe agent because it wants to add Daniel and Spencer to the contact list so that I can end up sending them invoices in the future. Now we're back to the operator agent. Now it's gone to the contact agent. Contact agent has access to a very simple Google Sheets API call, and we got the node has finished successfully. And so the first thing I want to do, guys, is just open up what we have in the response. So here we can see the email sent to Rick asking about the Formula 1 Grand Prix in Montreal has been sent. The basketball game has been created for Thursday. Tomorrow's schedule has been retrieved. We can also check each one of these sub agents to see if it actually has done the task. And so if we open up the Stripe agent, we can see that the object is the customer and the email was seanspencer@gmail.com, and it has been added. And so that has actually worked, and it's ran it 3 times, meaning the other one should be the other name. And so here we have Daniel Jones, here we have Sean Spencer. Then we can open up the calendar agent and see what it did here. So in the output, here are your events scheduled for tomorrow, June 13th. 7:30 to 8:30, I have a full personal operator agent demo. Then 8:45 to 7:45, I have a developer accelerator call, then a no-code call, then whatever. So it got it all completely perfect from my Google Calendar, and it broke it down perfectly as well. And it just told us, it basically summarized it to the point where it didn't even break that down. So I bet even if I just say, okay, can you list out tomorrow's schedule, please? So yeah, there we go. Now we have a perfect hourly breakdown of all the calls. And in today's build, guys, we're just going to connect 3 of the sub agents. We're going to do a simple email agent flow, calendar agent flow, and contacts agent flow. And then we'll test it out by sending an email and booking an event and all that fun stuff as well. So yeah, guys, like, subscribe. Let's build this baby from scratch. So first thing we're going to do is open up a brand new n8n environment, and we're going to build the operator agent's workflow first. So the first step that we got to do is the trigger, or the thing that receives the information. Now this is also going to evolve, so don't worry about the selection that I choose here, but it's just going to be a simple on chat message to start. Okay. And the field that we're going to allow is we're just going to leave it as is. Eventually we will make it publicly available, but for now, just leave it as is and we'll move on. Next thing we want to do, guys, is add the operator AI agent. And so we'll just add in that node, and you guys can choose any model that you want. I'm going to choose the one that I want. So we're going to add in a system message first. And this system message is actually going to instruct the operator agent on how to actually conduct itself. And so the way that I want to tell the system agent to be set up is to think of just using the tools and not using words in its response. And so a message will come in and it has to think of the tools or sub agents or employee agents that it should use to actually get the job done. And so that's exactly what we're going to write here. We're going to say, you are the operator agent of my business, and then you guys can put it in here like AI agency for, content creators. And then you have access to all of the tools in my business. Your goal is to use the tools necessary to complete the task that the user submitted message requests. For now, we'll just click out. Now, the next thing we have to do, guys, is add our chat model. And so we're going to click on the chat model drop down. We're going to go to chat. Now, I like adding these sticky notes because it honestly makes me understand how each agent is actually operating, in the flow. And so we can just quickly write this as an operator agent. Guys, we're going to give it some simple memory. Now, this thing's going to evolve a lot more once I show you guys the Replit integration with the Postgres chat memory. But for now, we're just going to use this simple memory for beginners. It works honestly wonderfully. Like, it's not, the Postgres method is not that much better unless it's for like direct messaging agents. And so now, guys, we can add our first tool that the operator agent has access to. And so that will be the email agent. And so we're going to click on the tool option here. And the recommended tool that we need to select is the call n8n workflow tool, because that allows you to call another agent. And so we're going to select that, and you won't have any agents built yet. And so we'll actually leave this blank for the time being, and we'll leave it empty, and we'll open up another tab. So guys, this tab here is going to be your email agent. And so the email agent's trigger needs to be coming from the operator agent message. And so what we're going to do is actually select the trigger as when executed by another workflow. And a way you guys can understand this easier is by renaming this to the operator agent's message. And so we're going to open this baby up, and we're going to also allow all types of data to come in because it's an AI model that's going to be receiving it, so it doesn't need any API structure. So we're going to select accept all data. Now we got to add an AI agent brain to the email agent workflow so we can give it specific instructions on how to actually write emails. So the simple message here could be, you are an email agent. You have access to all the Gmail API tools in the business. Your goal is to use the tools best based on the user's request. And eventually we're going to have to change the source of the prompt to the actual message that the operator agent gives. And so for now, we're just going to click out of that, and we're going to connect the chat model to this step as well. And in this case, we don't have to use an agent as powerful as O3. We can simply just use 4.0, and then we'll just click out. And then we'll actually give it all of the tools. So the first thing we'll do again is give it that simple memory of all the different request messages that have come in from the operator agent in the past. But now we're just going to click into the tool section, and we're going to click into the Gmail node, and we're just going to start connecting different API calls. And so after you guys connect your Gmail account, you're going to see the tool description, and we're going to leave that as set automatically. And the resource will be starting out with message. So the operation that we'll have for the first one will be the get many, because that will be getting all of the emails in your inbox, for example. And you can also specify it to do like a, received after date. So like, get me all the unread emails for today, get me all the unread emails from the past month, or whatever the heck that you guys want. And so in this case, we'll just leave it at the limit of 50. And in some other cases, you could also do like return all. Maybe you wanted to do a super scrape of all the emails that you had. But in this case, we just want to get the emails that we haven't read today. And so we're just going to leave it as so. And once again, we're going to rename the node that we just built, so it's just easier for us to understand as time goes on. And so we're just going to write get unread emails. Next, we'll add another tool. We'll open up another Gmail node. This one will be a send request, so sending emails. And in the to section, we're actually going to allow the model to define this parameter, because it's going to get the information of the person we want to email from either the contacts list or the prompt itself. And so the beautiful thing about the way that this workflow is set up is that it's literally grabbing information from different nodes and different workflows and using it for the end goal. And so one of the workflows that I use is literally adding email to customer, create invoice, and send invoice. And so I do that in one prompt. And so like we'll get there eventually in these tutorials, but we'll just stay with the first multi-agent setup. And so in this case, we're going to let the model define the parameter because the model itself will have the information. With email guys as well, it's also a lot of trial and error. So the email that you guys saw at the beginning was after a little bit of iteration on how the first flows actually ended up. Cool. And then we're just going to quickly name this send email. All right, so this one's actually send new email. So because we're also going to set up a reply email. And so we have the send new email, get unread emails, tools. Let's go Gmail again. Let's go reply. Again, let the model define the message ID. Let the model define the message. You can again have fun with the options. We're going to leave it blank. Let's click out. And we'll just add one more for now, and that will be mark emails as read. So once the agent pulls the emails and shows them to you and summarizes them, you might as well mark them as read as well so you don't read them again. So we'll just open up the Gmail node and mark as read. And we'll let the model define that as well. Cool. First thing we want to do here, guys, before we go back to the operator agent is we want to save this. And another way that I learned n8n fast was actually once I built the sub employee agents, I actually added them to the operator agent dashboard just so I can understand what each n8n workflow tool was doing. And so now that we have this workflow tool, let's move it over to the left, and this will be where the email agent will live. And so we're also going to rename this to email agent, and we're going to click save. So now back in the operator agent build here, we can open up the n8n workflow tool that we added, and we can actually add the email agent that we just built. And since I already have the real email agent, I'm just going to rename this one to email agent 2 so I can tell which one we are working on. Okay, so I'm going to grab email agent 2, and the email agent is now set up as the node. So we can now rename this, and it now essentially does have access to this entire workflow. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a sticky note around this agent. So guys, let's test the operator agent's first sub agent's workflow. So we're going to say send an email to my other email asking if he's down to play golf on Sunday. And we're going to send that in, and it's not going to work on the first step. So guys, we can't use 03 for this workflow, so we're going to actually use 01 for the operator agent. And then we're going to send in that request again. So we're going to say send an email to Kev saying if he's down to play. So the first step went to the operator agent's chat model, and it's going to think about what to do next. And it tried to go to the email agent, but the email agent isn't ready to receive information from the operator agent yet, which is why we got that failure. So we have to actually set up the email agent to receive the messages from the operator agent. So we're going to go inside of it, and we're going to click on the sub workflows trigger. And here we're going to open up the executions that were ran using the email agent where we can find the errors. When we find the errors, we can use the errors to debug. So we're going to click debug in editor. And here we can see that the message came in, but the error actually came at the AI agent step because the chat input here is undefined. And that's because we haven't mapped in the message that came in from the operator agent. And so what we have to do, guys, is click on the connected chat trigger node dropdown, and we're going to change it from connected chat trigger node to define below. That allows us to grab this query field and just drag it into the prompt section. So now the agent knows what to actually do because it's getting the user message. So now it understands how to actually write this email. So we're going to head back, but before we head back, we're going to save the email agent. We're going to go back to the operator agent, and then we're going to run things. So we're back at the operator agent, guys. Let's just send in that exact same prompt, and here we go. So the operator agent is taking a little thought, and it failed at the email agent again. That error is actually good news, guys. In the operator agent's message, it actually came in and we were able to get that message. And so now we need to set up the memory of the agent to also store the the messages that were happening. We're going to go back into the editor with that error. And so we're going to go into simple memory. We're going to see what's going on. It doesn't have that message, so it's undefined. And so we're just going to go click debug in editor. We're going to click on the simple memory. We're going to again change the connected chat trigger node to define below. And then we'll just drag in the query and it's good to go. So we're going to save, go back to the operator agent, and we're going to try it one last time to see if the email agent has been set up properly or not. So we're going to go and copy the exact same prompt, send it in one more time. And here we go. So operator agent has now been sent to the email agent. It gave us the check mark. It came back. It said email drafted and sent. Let me know if you'd like any changes or need to follow up. So the workflow actually did execute, but it didn't send the email itself. That's because the email module hasn't been set up with the instructions of how it actually use the agent. And so here we're going to give it a quick instruction or description of what this agent actually does. And so we're just going to say this agent workflow has access to all of the Gmail API endpoints for our business. We are an AI agency. I'm going to click out. And so now the email agent actually knows, or the email node actually knows what it does. And so we're going to, again, try this one last time, see what we get. Sending it off to the email agent. Went back to the chat agent, and this time I got the email. Perfect. Here's the email. Hey, Kevin, hope you're doing well. A few of us are planning to hit the course this Sunday, and I wanted to see if you'd be up for joining. Let me know if you're down to play and what time works best for you. Looking forward to it. So email agent is set up and it can do the other tasks too, and we'll test those other tasks as we add the other ones. But let's move on. So let's add in the calendar agent next. So we're going to click new tool. We're going to click calendar. We're going to click on Google Calendar. You guys are going to connect your accounts. And it's also going to come with this already predetermined as the start time is now and the end time as, sometime in the future. And so depending on what endpoint you're going to be using, you need to change this. And so what we're going to do first, guys, is just be able to book an event at any time in the future. And so this endpoint actually doesn't have to exist at all. And so we're going to delete it. And we're just going to give the model the ability to define this parameter. Now, next thing we got to do, guys, is actually choose what calendar list we're pulling from. And so in our use case, I'll be pulling from this email list. That looks good for now. So we're going to actually copy this node that we just built and we're going to delete it. We need to build it in its own workflow. So we're going to open up a brand new workflow for the calendar agent, and we're going to just click create workflow. And the first step again, guys, is going to be when executed by another workflow, because this is going to be the operator agent's message. Now, next, we're going to give the flow AI agent brain, and this again will be defined below once we get that input message from the operator. And so we'll just leave it as is for now. And chat model will go to OpenAI. This one, again, could just be 4.0, and we'll give it a simple memory. We'll end up defining that below as well. Move those over for a sec. Add in our calendar tools. So let's paste that calendar tool that we built. Let's connect it. Let's rename it to create event. Now, this is creating an event just for yourself. What if you wanted to create events including other people? So let's do that now. Let's open up another calendar tool. So this one will be the exact same build that we just had. Everything will be the same, but then we're going to add a field. This is attendees, and then the attendee will be defined by the model because we'll be sending in the message of who the attendee is. And we can say up to like 5 attendees as well. So these can all be defined by the model. And so now the agent has access to book me with up to 5 people simultaneously for one event. And so we're going to select the same Gmail account. We're going to let the model define the endpoint. Again, that should be money. Now this one's just going to delete an event. It's going to be pulling from the same calendar list, but the event ID will be the model defining it because the model has access to getting all events as well. So it can just get all events, look at them, see which one it wants to delete and delete them. And so that actually is what we have to do next. We have to get all of the events that we currently have booked or get our schedule. So this one we'll just call delete event. This one we'll call create event with guests. This one is create solo events. Get all events for the week. We're just going to copy that and then I'll explain it. So in this use case, the after and before has been defined because we want to see what our events are looking like for the next week and break those down. So it's now plus a week in the future. So we're going to call this one, calendar agent 2. Now again, there's more nodes that we can add, but for time's sake, we're just going to keep it as is because that's more than enough, right? Getting all the events, creating events with guests, and deleting events is a lot. And so let's open up the agent chat here and let's give it it's not going to have the prompt message. So we're just going to leave it as the connected chat trigger node for now. We're going to give it the system message of what this is. So we're going to say, you are the calendar agent. You have access to our entire schedule on a 7-day rolling basis. And we're just going to click save so that this agent goes online so that we can connect it to the operator agent. And so we're going to go into the operator agent. We're going to add another tool. And this tool, guys, is going to be that calendar. So we're going to go and grab that calendar agent 2, and we're going to give it the description again. So we can actually grab the description from the calendar agent 2. So if we open it up, we'll just grab this same prompt here. We'll head back and we'll head that into the description. And we'll say, instead of you are the calendar agent, we'll say this is the calendar agent. So we're going to drop down the chat box really quick. We're going to move over the calendar agent. We're going to rename it. We're going to go back to the workflow. We're going to highlight it. We're going to copy. We're going to head back to the operator agent. We're going to paste. We're going to add another sticky note. So we actually need to get that error again to fix and send in that message prompt because the message has to come from the operator agent to this node for us to get that error to actually set it up properly. So we're now going to say, can you check my schedule for tomorrow? Send that in. And it's going to go directly to the calendar agent. We're going to get that error. We're going to open that up. We're going to fix up these errors. So we're going to open up that view sub execution. We can see that it was able to get the operator agent message, but it failed in 2 places. So it failed in the AI agent step because it's not looking for the right message module. So we're going to go click debug in editor. We're going to open up the AI agent. We're going to click the drop down of connected chat trigger node. We're going to switch it to define below. And we're going to grab in that query from the operator agent and send it in to the user message section. And we're going to click out. Now we're going to do the same thing with the simple message. We're going to grab that query. We're going to drag it over to the key. It's going to now keep track of the past 5 messages that have come in to this calendar workflow. And now we're going to click save. So it looks like it's going to work now. We're going to go to the operator agent again. We're going to test that out. So we're actually going to have to test both of them simultaneously to actually see if it's going to work as a multi-agent workflow. Send an email to me again, but we're going to switch the day up. We're going to do Saturday, and we're going to do drinks. And then we're going to say, can you also tell me my entire schedule for tomorrow in order? And we're going to send that in. So we got the operator agent cooking. It has done its thinking. It's gone directly to the calendar agent. It's done cooking. It's probably going to go directly to the email agent. Yep. All right, we got the email. So title, drinks on Saturday. Hey, Kevin, hope you're doing well. I was wondering if you'd be down to grab some drinks this Saturday evening. Let me know if you're free and interested. Cheers. Sick. Now, if we look in the chat window here, here's your full schedule for tomorrow. Call 1, call 2, call 3, call 4, call 5, and then event 6. Also, I've sent Kevin an email. Boom, boom, boom. The multi-agent workflow is officially set up.